Have you had trouble growing? Have you been stuck and it seems like you're not going anywhere, but you've been working on this stuff for a long time? Well, today we're going to talk about 5 reasons that you might be growing very slowly and what you can do about them. So, have you been trouble growing? Have you been stuck for a long time? Have you been slow about growing and you're just getting tired of it? Well, today we're going to talk about the 5 reasons that you could be growing slowly. And number 5 is actually the one that had the biggest impact on my life. So make sure you stay tuned to number 5. Number 1 is probably one that's actually the nearest and dearest to my heart because I did it for so long, and when I see it in somebody else, it kind of makes me cringe, and that's being overly analytical. I used to think about everything all the time. I analyzed. And the problem with that is that a belief or a thought stays in your nervous system because of the emotion, not because you think about it. And I would constantly analyze everything, and I'd rework things and change things a little bit and get some different ideas. But the problem was I never really felt any better. That's because I had all this emotion stored up in my body. If I have the thought, I don't like myself, but I have no emotion attached to it, it doesn't mean anything. But if I have the thought, I don't like myself, but I have some really heavy emotions attached to it, well, that's a serious problem. Like if I have grief, sadness, anger, hurt, then I need to deal with that. Those emotions are actually stored down in the body, not up in the head. And so spending all this time in my head analyzing, well, it really doesn't do anything. It doesn't fix the problem. So spending all this time in my head analyzing it doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't do anything. I need to actually get down in the body, feel down to my body, feel down the spine, the front of the body, into the nervous system, and feel the heaviness, the sadness, and then start letting it go. This is what meditation is designed to help us do. Through meditation, we start to feel more. That's the whole purpose of it. We feel more of our body, we feel more connected to our body, and this begins to allow us to change who we're being. Because once we start feeling, we start releasing these emotions. We start letting them go. This is also what yoga helps with and different practices like that. I'm a big fan also of the Sedona method or the release technique. These are different methods to help you change your emotional state. And here at Fearless, we'll be creating something in the near future to help you guys process, something specifically designed for you men out there along these lines. But in the meantime, let's continue with the list. Number 2. Number 2 is another one that I think pretty much everybody does. And the problem with it is that you don't know you got it till you realize you got it. It kind of works like that, and that's denial. A lot of us love to deny. We deny. We push it down, and we push it down. I'm angry, I'm going to push it down and put a happy face on. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm going to push it down and put a happy face on. And back in the day when I was doing this, I had a teacher that said I had a maniacal smile. It was like this bullshit fake smile that people just didn't buy. I was not congruent with how I was feeling. I felt one way, but I was telling myself I felt another. And it wasn't only when I started to go down and relax into my body that I started to feel some more. And I started to try on the idea that there were a lot of buried emotions that I'd been denying for years. There's a reason we call it the unconscious mind, that this stuff started to bubble to the surface. And in that, I was able to start processing out the sadness, the grief, the heaviness that was keeping these beliefs in place. Now you're noticing a theme here. It's about going down and feeling and getting closer and getting into these emotions because that's how we grow. And then learning to let them go through some technique of feeling. Now, number 3 is avoidance. Avoidance is a very simple one. Almost everybody does it every day. And that could be something as simple as going and having a few beers after work to avoid what you're feeling. Keep watching TV. Years ago when I first started this work, I came home and I realized that I wasn't happy at night unless I had the TV on. I'd come home from my day job and I'd have the TV on, and I'd always have these sitcoms on or these TV shows on, and I would watch them, and they made me happy inside because these people were laughing. They were cracking jokes. They were laughing. They were in different emotional states, and I got to feel those states and feel good. But the problem with that was as soon as I turned off the TV and I was alone with myself, I got depressed. And I noticed it was really hard not to turn the TV on when I came home. So one day, I unplugged the TV, I turned it around, pushed it against the wall as a reminder, and I didn't turn it on anymore. And I went through several weeks of feeling really sad. But in that, I started to get over it. I started to process it, and I started to feel better. And then I started to have more time to really focus on myself, to reflect, to grow, to learn, and that was really powerful for me. And it was a huge moment because I recovered all these hours from the TV set that other people, well, that I had been giving up in the past, and other people still are. The next one that I want to talk about, oh, by the way, in avoidance, you can do it everywhere. You know, alcohol, TV, you can even use sex for avoidance. There was a period of my life where I was constantly looking for more sex after I started to get good with women, and I realized that I was using sex to avoid something. So I stopped. I actually took a break from women for about 4 months just to really learn to be alone with myself. But I only did that after I got good at getting women, and I knew I could get them. Before that, it was kind of pointless because I had no reality around that, right? So I took this break to really learn to love myself and enjoy being alone with myself more. So all of these are possibilities. Now the next one is one I see a lot in certain clients. It's come in a lot, and it can be a real bitch to let go of, but it can be let go of, and that's over-dramatization. A lot of people come in and they feel a little bit of pain, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of hurt, and then they dramatize the hell out of it, which actually keeps them from really feeling it and gets them kind of their blood pumping and gets them some attention, and it feels really good to them. It's kind of this fight. They're just looking for that fight, or they're looking to bring up drama, or they're looking to get into drama. And over dramatization can be very, very, very addictive, and it's very hard to get rid of. Sometimes you just gotta, in classes, sometimes when somebody's just overly dramatic and trying to pull everybody's attention to them all the time, we have to just stop and not acknowledge them for a while, not even look at them. Let them experience being alone in a room full of people that will not pay attention to them. And everybody in the room will be fascinated because they'll start hearing and feeling all the things they're doing to try to pull the attention to them, from little comments to like huffing and puffing to moving around, until they settle down and they start connecting with everybody in the room, really connecting, and that changes everything. But the first thing you can do is start to notice when you really need attention, when you're really craving it. It's one thing to really enjoy the attention, but it's another thing to constantly try to pull the attention to you, like you have to, like it's like you can't resist it. Like I need to try to get some more people to look at me. And that's over-dramatization. I'm sure everybody knows somebody like that. And we've all done all of these at some point in our lives. And usually one person is more dominant in one area than another. Now, the last one, number 5. This is one I have really put a lot of time into, and I'm putting more time into recently, and that's my health. You would be shocked at how many people have issues with their health, and that's why they're not growing. They think there's a million reasons why they're not growing they could come up with mentally, and they think it's all mental. But the truth is the health is one of the biggest key factors. What you're eating, how much stimulants you're taking each day, but on top of that, do you have any issues going on? I grew up with a lot of health issues. I had a lot of gut problems. I had a lot of problems with yeast overgrowth in my body. At one time, I had blood in my urine and blood in my throat. I was so bad, I thought I was dying. And I had to go through a year-long detox and cleansing of my body, and it sucked. And I always wondered why I grew so slow. Well, it had a lot to do with the fact that I had so much overgrowth of yeast in my body. I had a leaky gut syndrome. I had all this stuff going on, which kept me from being able to focus properly. I was always tired, fatigued. I would use coffee, stimulants, rock stars to boost my energy up. And honestly, I was so amped up all the time when I was awake that I was pushing and state pumping and pushing, and I wasn't learning that way. Or I was crashing in fatigue and pain and hurt. And it was really hard to learn from that place when you're that fatigued, that tired. And when I started to get my health in order, wow, all that changed. So after that year, I started to be able to focus more and connect more and feel my body more. I did a lot of meditation that year and cleaned out all the negative thinking in my body. And that was huge because I started learning and processing way faster. Success started coming with ease, and it was amazing. But then I came to the realization that I wasn't done. I realized, even though I felt better, that there was another layer. So recently, and this is what spurred this whole video on, I went to the doctor. And I found out that I still had stuff going on, that I had dealt with the yeast issue beautifully. And by the way, in the past, I wouldn't go to doctors. I spent years of my life avoiding doctors because my early experience with doctors was they only made me worse. They gave me drugs and chemicals. So this time I went to a doctor that was a friend of a friend, and she helped me out immensely because she really focuses on health. She mixes Eastern medicine with Western medicine. She focuses on optimal health. And what she did was she showed me that my thyroid was low, that I had insulin intolerance, and yes, my candida and all that stuff was all cleaned up. But I had to get that stuff straightened out too. And as I've been straightening that out, taking care of the low thyroid, which is just slightly low, creating more lethargy, and I was fixing the problem with my insulin, what started to happen was nothing short of miraculous. I have felt more energy, better, and more alive than ever. And I'm moving faster and faster again. I'm getting more done every day because of it. So I want to invite all of you to take a serious look at your lives, including your health. Because if you're living on caffeine, stimulants, things to keep you awake, well, that might be the very reason that you're not absorbing the information like you should. Whenever we have a student come into the workshop that is healthy, that's got good energy levels, it's amazing how fast they process. And now, since I've been doing all this work around health, I can really spot the students that come in that have something going on, because there's an energy about them, a way they move, this slowness, this heaviness. And it changes everything when you get this part of your life handled. So I'm going to invite you guys to take a look at all 5 of these. Take a serious look, because a change in any one of these areas could change your life. And if you've got multiple areas to get control of, and as you get control of them, you'd be shocked at how much faster your life will change. So make sure to comment below. I'd love to hear, which one of these areas you think you have the most trouble with and what you're doing about it. Or if you have any questions about any of these areas or you want to know more, make sure you put your comments in and let us know, because we love to hear from you guys. So if it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe. And if you click the link in the video, you get a free chapter of the ebook, Fearless with Women. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And remember, only the confident live.
Traveling through Jordan right now, and just to the south of me, there's a town that has ISIS activity in it, and sniper fire, etc. So
Your ability to really just let go of the outcome and let it land as it may, the greater your success. And this seems odd, because a lot of people are like, I'm going to make my goal happen. I'm going to make my goal happen. This is it. This is the time. I'm going to do it. The problem with that is that when you're so attached to the goal that you're forced